Hello and welcome back to the One United podcast. I'm joined as ever by Henry. Henry, how you doing?
Yeah, could be a little bit better, but we move.
Could be a lot better. And we're joined for the second time. Brilliant to have you on. We're joined by Waz. Waz, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. You're welcome having me on again. Thanks.
Well, we'll jump straight into it then. Obviously, the big talking point this weekend has got to be United losing 6-1 at home to Tottenham Hotspur. You know, lads, it's only Tottenham, I think Fergie once said. How the mighty have fallen. I know it's going to get a big reaction from you, Henry, so I'll come straight to you. What are your reactions from the game?
Well, I said on Twitter, if we didn't sign a winger by the end of the window, I'd be pissed. And I'm pissed. I'm very pissed. The game itself was a complete joke, a complete mess. I'm actually pretty furious, to be honest. I didn't see anything in that game to suggest to me that side is... any of them deserve to put on that United shirt to me. It was embarrassing. The video came out yesterday of Harry Maguire and Marcus Rashford having it out on the pitch after Martial got sent off. And Harry Maguire was being that 6'4" bitch he is. Pathetic, embarrassing. Defending VAR when it's just sent one of your players off. Surely you've got to show a bit of backbone as a United captain. He is not worthy of being United captain. He is just not worthy. And yeah, I mean, when you concede 2 and you go 2-1 down, you know, you're supposed to regroup and stuff. A complete and utter mess from that team. Ship 6 could have been 10. Probably would have been 6 with 11 men on the pitch. We were that bad. Yeah, to be quite honest, I'm actually just furious.
Yeah. I don't know anyone who isn't furious, to be fair. Now, I know you might possibly look at it a bit more diplomatic. I know what you're like, so I'll come to you. What are your reactions to the game?
Oh, where do we start? There were so many goals that we conceded that a lot of them were down to our own errors as well. But I think tactically as well, I think Spurs targeted us on the sides, especially with what's his name now, the right back and Reguilon. I think because they pushed on Rashford and Greenwood, they weren't tracking back, and they always had a double up on the side, and they were making the most use of that. But still, a lot of their goals came from our errors. Was it that there were so many goals I can't even remember which one's which? But with the one, I think the equalised where Maguire heads it back. He's put nothing on it. The idea is actually right to head it back to keeper, but it's the top of his head, and then he pushes Shaw out the way. I'm sure you've all seen it, and then they tap it in. A lot of their goals were from our errors, including I think Bailly passed one out as well, and there's one where Pogba didn't track back. It was just a calamity of errors. But even before the red card, they were the better team, so it was a bit embarrassing from minute one, to be honest.
Embarrassing is the only word you can really use to describe it, isn't it? There's 6-1 at home should not happen, especially against a team it's not even the best team in England. Never mind the world. So definitely embarrassing. I get what you're both saying about it. It would have probably been 6-1 with or without 10 men. Interesting as well. I don't know if you saw, but they've come out and said, Jose Mourinho specifically, whether it was at the beginning of the game or at halftime, he specifically said to knuckle down on doubling up on the United fullbacks because he knew Rashford and Greenwood weren't going to track, which is a bit. It's embarrassing again. You know, you're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. You should be giving your all to for every minute. Now, I'll come to the next point, which I know you're going to be very angry about, Henry. Now, it's regarding the sending off. We'll talk about the sending off first, actually. So,
yeah,
there's a bit of shoving in between Lamela and Martial. Lamela obviously lifts his arm up, catches Martial on the chin, and Martial reacts. Now, I'll hand the floor to you, Henry. How are you feeling about the red card, and what do you have to sort of say for it?
I mean, there's not a hell of a lot you can say, really. I mean, everyone said it on Twitter and everyone said it on other kind of forms of social media as well. Lamela, I'm baffled how he didn't get sent off. I really am. And I know, it had an impact on the game, but to be honest, not a huge one. Oh, God. He's just a bit of a bitch, isn't he, Lamela, really? I mean, I really wish Roy Keane would have been on that pitch there, because he would have probably kicked him while he was on the floor. He was just a complete wet on the floor. He got palmed a little bit in the face. I mean, I've had bigger slaps from my dog, and you don't go down after them, do you? So it's just unbelievable. And the fact that he has the nerve to stick an elbow in someone's neck, and then afterwards go down after getting palmed in the face. If that's the way you're going to get someone sent off, then Martial should have gone down and cried and got his phone out and called an ambulance, because Lamela would be on a 10-game ban right now. So VAR has made itself look stupid. Lamela's made himself look stupid, and all this talk about Jose Mourinho wants integrity in his team and stuff. Well, Lamela's he's just a bitch. He's just a bitch, and how can you allow that? How can you condone that as well? After the game, can you be ashamed as a manager to see your player go down like that especially after he's just elbowed someone? But again, saying that, you don't stick your hands in someone's face. If in Martial, whether he was trying to give him his cheeks a little cuddle or whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't stick your hands in someone's face. You're going to get sent off for it. And then Mr. Forehead needs to kind of back Martial up a little bit, rather than just standing there like the fucking lemon he is.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, isn't it? As annoyed as we are that Lamela wasn't punished at all, I think it's just pure stupidity from Martial to retaliate in any way. Because as soon as you do, that's it, you're off. I'll come to you, Waz. Do you think the referee could have handled that any differently?
Yeah, you often hear referees saying, or the head of referees saying, players have got to help the referees out by simulating less and not going over easy. They've got VAR. I don't understand, if they went to VAR, why they're making their own job bad, because they clearly know Lamela has gone down easily, but they've punished Martial for giving an honest reaction, but they've give less punishment to Lamela for faking it. If you want to help yourself out and stamp that out of the game, give it a red card, because the forearm in Martial, it's in his personal space, because when you're elbowing someone or you're using forearm under their chin, no one likes it, whether it's me, you, anyone. No one likes going to each other's personal space where your face is. So that's where Martial react. Martial just gave him a little touch around the face, and he just fell down like a sack of potatoes. But I think VAR, they've got to help themselves out in those situations. It's like they clearly know Lamela went down easily, but yet they've just let it pass and give him a yellow card. It's just, I don't know, it's just double standards, and you just got to help yourself out in those situations.
Yeah, that's exactly. You can't. Martial it's just pure stupidity, as I've said. Now, the question you raised, Henry, is the sort of the reaction of Harry Maguire to the red card. It's frustrated a lot of fans on Twitter now. A lot of people are sort of questioning his captaincy now. Now, I'll come to both of you in time, but Henry, what, especially over the course of the season, what are your sort of feelings towards Harry Maguire?
Oh God, I think I've made my feelings about him quite clear, to be honest. There's some chat that came out earlier that we could have bought him in 2017 for 15 million, and at this stage, I wouldn't even pay that for him. At the end of the day, he's just not up to it. He's not up to it. He hasn't been up to it for the last couple of years. I know our defensive record was better last year, but we're so heavily reliant on counter-attacking against teams that when we try to keep the ball for 5 minutes and we lose it, we're stuffed. Maguire, as far as captaincy goes, he's an embarrassment. He really is. It's a mess. I know people have defended him for, well, the VAR made the decision, so what are you supposed to do? Well, what you're supposed to do is be in the ref's face so he can make a different decisions throughout the game. That's what you're supposed to do. I've never seen a United captain be as much of a pussy as he is. Literally, he's double the size of that ref. If you get in his face and have a go at him, he's going to make some different decisions throughout the game. So, as far as I'm concerned, he can sod off as well. He needs to be dropped. It turns out Lindelof wasn't the original problem; it was Maguire. So maybe Lindelof and Bailly at the back next game, or I don't know. We just signed an 18-year-old centre half who's going to go into the 23s. I think he'd do a better job than Maguire at the moment. And he was in the French second division last year. So give Maguire time off. I don't know why he's playing for England either. We're nailed on probably to lose against Wales. If we lose against Wales, it'll, I can guarantee you Maguire will have a part to play in the poor defending. So, as far as I'm concerned, as a United fan, I don't usually turn on players massively. I usually give him a bit of space, and I have before with Maguire. But this guy's just a fucking donkey, isn't he? He just doesn't know what he's doing. So
yeah, I can't argue with anything you've said there. I'll ask you the same question. Thoughts on Maguire? Go ahead.
Yeah, with Maguire regarding the incident where he was having a let go at Rashford and he didn't go into the ref face as much. I was disappointed with Maguire because as captain, you're the one that's allowed to speak to the referee. And if you put you on the referee, if you show that much like anger and like resentment against the decision, the referee will eventually just look. He'll go to the side monitor on the touchline and he'll go have a look at himself, because you've got to put that pressure on referees. There's even referees in the past, they've come out with little subtle like words saying that they do get influenced by the crowd, they do get influenced by players, they do get influenced by Roy Keane. So I know it don't sound right, but you've got to put you on the referee, and then hopefully he'll maybe look at the monitor on the side, or maybe give an equal decision between Lamela and Martial. I was with Maguire, like in a tactical like point of view. For me, we've got a problem at the moment. United are trying to play out and keep like this possession game, or sometimes we're trying to counter. If we're countering, that suits Maguire because he's got players next to him tucked in, and he's got cover in front of him. But if we're trying to play this progressive football, normally with a high line, that's gonna cost us, because the space behind Maguire will be exposed by opposition teams, and that's where I've got a concern. Also with Alex Telles, people expect him to come in the team, rightly so. However, he's an attacking fullback. That's going to give even less cover to Maguire on that side of the pitch. So that's another concern I've got. I'd personally put Maguire right centre back, because leave Bissaka, because Bissaka didn't really attack much. So if you leave Bissaka tucked in close by Maguire, then at least Maguire got cover on that side. Whereas if Telles pushes forward, if say Lindelof playing left centre back, at least Lindelof can defend wide areas much better than Maguire, because I'm sure Lindelof didn't get dribbled past once last season. Because normally on the ground 1v1 he's fairly reasonable, but obviously in recent weeks he's been fairly weak, which has been frustrating. But yeah, that's it on Maguire for me.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make. I think we're really starting to see that it wasn't Lindelof that was a problem at all. You go back to Mourinho's final season where he sort of donned the nickname Iceman because he was so cool at the back. He was our best defender that season. I think he's from everyone. Like I can't hide from it. We've all given him sort of stick, and it's probably not been justified. So, just shows that. Well, it just shows that maybe the problem wasn't him all along. Now, you mentioned Telles coming in. He's obviously going to be a big improvement on Luke Shaw, which brings me to something that Henry wants to talk about, sort of from a tactical side of things. Now,
we've quickly first. I've just seen something on Twitter, okay, and this has made me mad. I've just seen, according to Fabrizio, our other target for a left back was Emerson from Chelsea. Emerson. He's played 30 games in 2 years.
He's still probably better than Luke Shaw.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, fair enough. He probably is, but it doesn't take much doing at the moment, does it? You just don't have to have McDonald's every week. Seriously, Emerson. I don't know where to go with this club anymore. I'm done. I'm seriously. I'll always support it and stuff. But what the fuck are we supposed to? How are we supposed to be happy with all this? Emerson, the guy's behind Marcus Alonso. Marcus Alonso is useless. Probably one of the worst defensive left backs I've ever seen in the world. He played for Bolton for a reason. Oh, seriously, we're stooping championship level. It's embarrassing.
Well, we'll bring this up then, Henry, just to slightly move on. It's still on the left back issue, but I know that you want us to talk about this image specifically.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'll let you take the floor with it. Go ahead.
This one. Well, everyone, this is Manchester United defending in 2020. I'm not quite sure why the hell we're defending like that, but we are for some reason. Luke Shaw is doing what he usually does and just sitting where he wants to play and playing, kind of defensive midfield, really, maybe as an auxiliary centre half, as you do when you're a left back. Greenwood, again, positioning wise, we talked about the fullbacks earlier. Positioning wise, he's all over the place. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Pogba is running towards the ball rather than towards the man, which is right behind him. So I don't know why he's not looking at that. And Nemanja Matic is just kind of moseying around wherever he wants to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is United defending in 2020. If everyone else can back and defend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for how we defend and stuff, that is not how you defend. It's just not. We didn't lose a defender when we went down to 10 men. Didn't lose a defender. We lost a striker. So surely in terms of if you're kind of trying to recuperate and get yourself back in, shape and whatever, you don't do that, do you? Oh, what? Seriously, what the hell is that? That I can see everyone wanting to come over to the right-hand side. It's just like they want to come over to the touchline just to have a drink or something. There is no one on Aurier who is, in terms of as far as attacking fullbacks go, I'd argue probably one of the better ones in the league. He scores goals and he creates a lot of goals as well. So, but that is no wonder we lost 6-1. That is a complete joke.
Yeah, spot on. It's a very interesting image. I know, it just sort of reminds me of that image. I can't remember what game it was from, but I know we got battered and there was all four of our defenders not lined up horizontally but vertically instead up the pitch, and that sort of raised some alarm bells. Now, Waz, I know you're pretty tactically astute. So, do you have any sort of observations from this image that Henry didn't really raise?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Henry there as well. When Martial got sent off, it looks like we went to 4-3-2 with Greenwood and Rashford up top and Pogba slightly on the left, Marty sitting and Fernandes on the right of the midfield three. With the midfield three, the problem is that you can't get wide because it's a narrow formation 4-3-2. So their fullbacks were pushing on, and as you can see with Aurier in the picture displayed, that he's got oceans of space because he's not facing a winger now. It's a 4-3-2. There's no winger against him, so he's just got all that space. And the midfield three, as we often see with United, there's a lot of gaps in our midfield, and that makes it easy to play against. And then they had that ball on all day long to Aurier. We conceded 6. We could have been 7, 8, 9. And yeah, the shape is awful. We could have gone to a 4-4-1 and just kept it tight and stayed in the game. But we just our own problem in the end.
My biggest issue with that image is positionally, okay, Pogba's slightly out of position. Rashford, I think Bruno is the little kind of speck you can see above there. It's either and Wan-Bissaka's slightly further back. So I don't know why Bruno's there either, to be honest. But my biggest problem with that is you've got Mr. Burger King in the middle who can't be asked to go out to the fullback. Greenwood should be tracking as well. That is so much space. Lamella's obviously moving towards that space as well, and Shaw's not quicker than Lamella. You should keep your shape, and if Lamella wants to come inside, then you let Harry Maguire know and say, hang on a minute, that's your man as well. You've got 4 people at the back. They hadn't got 4 out-and-out attackers there. So surely between you can figure out who's got what man. And sure, I don't know why he's man-marking Lamella. It's not Ander Herrera on Eden Hazard. It's not one of those jobs. I'm sure, he's just following him like a little dog. That's all he's doing, following him around the pitch. That to me it's just shocking, and I can't actually believe that. This sums up that day. This image to a T sums up the day, sums up the game, sums up how poor we were. Midfield was missing. The defence, I know we criticise the defence a lot, but why aren't we criticising the midfield? Obviously, reports came out that Fernandes had been and screamed at Maguire in the changing room. Whether that's true or not, I kind of hope it is, because someone needs to tell Harry Maguire that he has about 4 brain cells in a head that's about 4 foot long. So he needed telling that he's an arsehole. And Bailly was our best player, in my opinion. I know he made a few mistakes, but he throws himself in front of the ball. He commits to challenges. Yeah, some of them are reckless, but he's the one that always seems to stand out in terms of he will put his body on the line for the club. The rest of those players, what the hell they're doing. They can apologise after the game all they want. I don't give a shit about apologies on Twitter. I care about doing it in the game. If they did it in the game, they wouldn't have to make those stupid apologies anyway. So, yeah, that sums up the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you were saying about the midfield needs to take a bit of responsibility for this. Van der Beek didn't come on again until sort of 70, 25 minutes left to go, should we say, about 65 minutes. Pogba had yet another poor performance. Matic wasn't at it. Fernandes came off at half time. I know you're a big fan of Van der Beek. I saw you tweet earlier, retweeting the goal he scored in Holland training. So what does he need to do to get in this starting lineup? Because there's got to be something going on behind the scenes at this point.
Yeah, it's a bit weird why he's not starting, because we can clearly see that Pogba looks overweight to me. I don't know about others. I said it a while ago. His frame just looks a bit bigger than it used to be. But even that, his general play and his fitness is just poor at the moment, to be honest. So I don't know why Ollie's messing around. Van der Beek should be in that team. It's the manager's job to make tough decisions. Yes, Pogba's a big name, and Pogba's one of my favourite players at United. But you got to do what's best for the team. Van der Beek's fit. You can tell when he comes on the pitch, he keeps the ball, he passes and moves. He can get into the box, with late runs. He also can get back because he's got that energy, that Herrera type energy where he comes back. So I don't know why we've not used him. We also use Pogba too deep anyway, so I don't even know why we play him there. But we should, in my opinion, go to a 4-3-3 with Matic or Fred sitting, with Bruno slightly on the left and Van der Beek slightly on the right. Even when Van der Beek came on, he was doing well in that right-hand side, that little pocket where Herrera used to play. And yeah, I don't know what else he can do. The players are out of form. Ollie should simply be playing him.
Yeah, spot on. I think it's going to be a gamble, but at this point, you've got to drop Pogba, haven't you? What do you think, Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I try to praise him as much as I can because I know what he's got in his locker, the potential he's got. We've seen it with France. We saw it with Juve. But he's got to have a team around him who want to be there, got to have a team around him who are willing to do the extra little bit of work that maybe he doesn't do. But Solskjaer seems to just put him in there. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's this obsession with playing that midfield three, thinking, oh, well, one week it's going to turn out okay. Well, it hasn't worked for the first 2 games of the season against Brighton and against Palace. So why would it suddenly, all of a sudden, change against Spurs? It just hasn't clicked for me. Van der Beek has to be in there. He seems to bring him on the 18th minute every single game. I don't know what the hell's wrong with Solskjaer, whether he's just got some sort of time issues or something. Yeah, I absolutely can't stand the fact he brings on Van der Beek 90 minutes in. What is that about? We just signed him for 35 million. Bring him on. God's sake. Sorry.
Yeah, bring him on or start him. Either way, it's got to be done. We've seen in his performances he doesn't need time to hit the ground running because he has. He scored one. He put in another man of the match performance against Luton. It's only a matter of time now. But we'll sort of move away from the negativity of the game then and move towards the negativity of the transfer window. Deadline days passed. We got Telles and Cavani, which were both pretty much agreed a couple of days before, so it wasn't really a surprise. But the 2 youngsters we brought in as well, Amad Traore and Palestri, they both look all right. I can't say I've seen anything of them, but yeah, how would you rate the deadline day that we had?
Overall, I don't think we addressed the positions that we truly needed to address. Maybe with Telles, we've addressed the left back position, but we needed centre back, we needed defensive midfielder, We gave Matic a new contract. I told everyone at the time that wasn't deserved. It was a 3-year contract, and he already looks off the pace. Maybe he was playing well in that little period to get a new contract, and now he's got his contract. He's gonna probably be complacent again. And we didn't sign a natural right winger. I think Amad Traore is coming in January, but is he much better than Mason Greenwood? And also, how long is it going to take him to adjust to the Premier League? And it's unfair on the lad to have that expectation on him. Again, the board didn't deliver. We signed Cavani, but if we really wanted Cavani, we would have got him months ago, because I'm sure he was a free transfer. So it doesn't make sense to me as well. And with Ollie and United fans, they all play this morality card. Oh, we're not going to be held to ransom, and they say stuff like the club bigger than the club, whatever they got going about. But Cavani, it just contradicts all their sayings, because they said we're not going to sign players on big wages and so on, and that are too old and don't fit the philosophy. Well, Cavani doesn't fit the philosophy of a mobile front three. His wages are really high. His age, he's about 33. His fitness, I don't think he's played in 7 months, as far as I'm aware. So it's just contradictions. The truth is, United don't want to pay up. They don't want to pay up for Haaland. They didn't want to pay for Reguilon. Even with Reguilon, people say, "Oh, he's going to leave in 2 years if Real Madrid buy him back." But at the end of the day, you've got him now for at least 2 years. You've got Ethan Laird coming through as well. So for me, I would have done it anyway. But with Tellez, I'm happy with Tellez. Happy with Van der Beek, although he wasn't a priority position. Cavani, I just hope he can do basically as Zlatan if possible, and also help the youngsters around him, probably with their mentality and so on. And with the other youngster, Pelestri, I've not seen much of him, to be honest. Amad Traore does look a good talent, to be fair. However, I think he'll need time to adjust, especially with his light frame as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's poor planning. I'll come back to you as well, Waz, because we're rumoured to have paid upwards of about 40 million euros for Amad Traore. He's not even going to get it in January. Just raises the question, why couldn't that extra money have gone towards Sancho? You know, it seemed like we were only sort of 10, 20 million out in his valuation. So do you feel like it shows that we've spent money the wrong way?
Yeah, and with United, you often hear with Solskjaer and like Woodward saying, we're going to get like value for money. We're going to wait till the right player comes along. But then their actions, you got to judge people on the actions, not the words. And with their actions, clearly they're just contradicting themselves. They left it all to the last minute. With Sancho, we knew Dortmund wanted 120 million euros. We knew about 4 or 5 months ago. So if you wanted Amad Traore, you would have got him much quicker, knowing that you can't get the Sancho deal. And yeah, that's it really on that matter.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. Hopefully, though, based on what they've been saying about him, he'll come good. You know, I think it was Gomez at Atalanta who said he's like the next Messi. But you know, it all remains to be seen. Henry, I'll come to you. What do you make of our transfer window as a whole?
We had so many problems in that window. Sorry, my mic was muted for some reason. And yeah, it's all desperate. It's so desperate. It always seems to be a bit of a rush to get things done on the last day. We were in some sort of like weird world where we thought the Sancho deal would somehow go through, even if we paid like 30 million less than they asked. So Woodward and Judge, that's on you guys. At the end of the day, I know they won't watch this because they don't give a shit about the fans. But yeah, in regards to that, and yeah, I've just seen that comment. Yeah, I love the Glazers so much. They are my best friends. In regards to the window, the Traore deal made sense to a degree, but I don't know why that seemed to be one of the last deals we did. We didn't look at, we're looking at signing everyone on loan. What is this? That whole thing with signing, oh, we only want Dembele on loan. Oh, we only want Sarr on loan. Why are we signing people on loan in the first place? I know COVID had an impact and stuff, but Liverpool were able to go out and buy a winger. They spent like 45 million on Jota. It was a priority position. And the board have once again failed the club and failed the manager. and failed the fans. Again, they just seem to do it every window. We have 3 positions we desperately needed. Left back, fair enough, we got one, although that took Tellez to basically bully the Porto board into doing the deal in the first place. We needed a centre half, and we got this 18-year-old who's going into the 23s. That's not fucking useful for us, is it? And we needed a right winger, and we've got one for January. We've got, okay, Palestri, fine. But you don't buy someone for 10 million for them to instantly come in like next game and have a massive impact. You just it just doesn't happen. He might be fantastic within like half a season, but we need someone now. And yet again, we're relying on the Welsh donkey. That's the only thing I can say about Dan James anymore, because he, sprint merchant. So yeah, please announce Mbappe as well, because I know the window's over, but anything now would be nice. But yeah, it's a complete joke. I'm not very happy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about the loan deals. It was a bit weird, but I think if you look at it in a positive way, it's the fact that we were trying to get everyone on loan for a year would suggest that maybe we're looking for a full-time right winger next year, and perhaps that's Sancho. So that's the positive way I'm looking at it. Not that we're going to get him anyway. I'm not that stupid.
This whole positivity FC thing. How can people, as United fans, accept this? How can we just? We can just accept that we're not going to get Sancho. Why are we accepting that we're not going to get someone that we've been looking at for the last 6 months, probably longer, probably a year? Why are we accepting that we might have to sign someone on loan to get him in the future? What is, honestly, it's a load of horse shit. Why are we trying to justify what the board are doing? They've been useless for the last 7 years. Why are they all of a sudden going to change and do something that makes sense now? Honestly.
Well, the other thing that the transfer window sort of brought up was another big position we missed, especially when you look at the performance against Spurs. Now, we didn't go out and sign a centre back. I don't even know if we tried, to be fair. I'm not surprised if we didn't, because they're that incompetent. But if we were to go out last summer and get a centre back, who do you think it should have been?
For me, we've spoken about it before. We're all fans of Upamecano. For me, he fitted the profile of player well. He's young, athletic. He's very good on the ball. He brings the ball out. So if you want to play like a progressive type of football, he's your man. He's also good at covering rounds. So when Maguire does get exposed, he's got that recovery pace to cover for Maguire. Upamecano was top on my list. I didn't really think of any other centre backs, because I really wanted him, because I think he's got a buyout clause of 60 million euros next summer. So if we put in a good 50 million this summer, I'm sure we could have made Leipzig think about something at least. I'm sure the Amad Traore was 40 million euros or something, and with Cavani's wages, instead of those 2 players, we could have put that money towards Upamecano and address the real problem position for us.
Yeah, spot on. It's just very frustrating. Now, Henry, I'll come to you just before we sort of end it. I'll ask you both, but I'll come to you, Henry, first. Do you think we could see any sort of Bruno type deals where in January, where they didn't quite come off in the summer, so we go again in January and try to get them again?
The only way we'll see those types of deals is if we're looking like we're not going to get top 4. And the Glazers are so heavily reliant on the Champions League money that if we're not going to get top 4, or it's looking in the balance, they might go and spend a bit of money. But I think we'll be like December time. I can see us November or December sacking Solskjaer because he didn't get the performances, because they haven't backed him again in the transfer window, and bring in a new manager, and then go and spend like 50 million, 60 million in January as a couple of kind of panic buys to try and get us back into the European places. But as I see it, it's just a bit of a mess, really.
Yeah, a bit of a mess. I actually want to raise one of the points you made. I'll ask you both this instead. The way it's looking, I'll come to you first. Do you see Solskjaer lasting even until January? And if you don't, who do you think will get in?
Oh yeah. To be fair, even though I'm not Solskjaer's biggest fan, for me, you should always back the manager. At least give him the best tools for his plan, his philosophy, if he's got one, to just play it out. And then if it doesn't work, then fair enough. We give him all the tools, we give him all the backing. Clearly doesn't work. Now get rid of him. But for me, we've been half-assed this summer transfer window. So I do feel a bit sorry for Solskjaer in that aspect. For me, I think the quite obvious choice is going to be Pochettino because he's available, and I think a lot of fans, United fans, want him. However, when you constantly change managers, you have players of the last manager which don't suit the system of the new manager. So then you end up spending another 200-300 million. Although I feel a lot of these United players under Pochettino, for example, the front three, we know them: Greenwood and Rashford, Martial, with Pogba as well, Van der Beek and Fernandez. These sort of players, for me, they'll prosper under Pochettino. So it's not too bad in that sense. Maybe Pasaka's got to think about his position, and Maguire, because with Pochettino, he likes to play flying fullbacks that overlap the wingers or overlap the narrow forwards. So Pasaka's going to have to improve in that aspect. But yeah, I think Pochettino is the one United may go after.
Emery, same question. Go ahead.
I'm going to do that question, and then I'm going to go on to something, if you don't mind, a little bit different in regards to Ed Woodward afterwards. But in terms of Solskjaer, I've heard people back him, and they'll continue to back him, and I respect that he's a legend of the club and stuff. But he hasn't clearly got the managerial knowledge to do anything in this league. He failed a couple of times. Well, he failed with Cardiff, and then it was decent with Mulder, but should have done better from what I've seen. So in regards to that, yeah, I'm very pro Poch at the moment, and I think Waz is right in the sense that he'll manage to get the best out of those players. It will be a tough task in its own right, but he seemed to manage to do it with Spurs, and they had a similar kind of setup at the time. So, yeah, only positive thoughts about him. In regards to, I looked something up the other day just to try and figure out where we're at in terms of what Woodward's getting paid per year to do all this crap. He's the highest paid director of football, whatever you want to call him, in the league, one of the highest paid in the world. He's earning double what the Chelsea director of football is earning, and Ferran Soriano at City is on about $1 million less. Someone we've been kind of linked with before is Monchi, who's at Sevilla at the moment. The highest he got paid when he was at Roma beforehand was 1.7 million a year, and he managed to broker some fantastic deals when he was there as well. He's done the same with Sevilla. Woodward is on almost double what he earned at Roma. Put that into perspective for United fans. We could pay Woodward to do the business side of things, paying 1.5 million a year. I'm not sure he'd walk away from that, to be fair. And we could also pay a top director of football, just all in the same bracket of salary that Woodward's getting now. So it surely makes a little bit more sense for the owners to go and do that, because at the end of the day, Woodward and Judge can sod off anyway. He seems to be borderline useless when it comes to doing deals. So get rid of him and bring in someone who actually knows what they're doing, and then he'll save money for the Glazers. And I know I don't want to save money for them, whatever, but I want better deals for the club. And the only way you're going to get better deals is getting a better director of football in. And yeah, Chelsea are only paying Marina. Her last name is very complicated to say. I believe it's Granovskaya. They're paying her 1.5 million a year, half of Woodward's salary. So how on earth can they do that, and then we can't just merge two into one and pay a director of football and then tell Woodward to piss off to London and do his thing there with the financial kind of banking side of things, doing what he's best at, which is being a banker. So, or a wanker, either one. So yeah, just tell him to do that.
Yeah, it's just I can't even say I'm surprised by anything you said. Not from obviously your point of view, from a United point of view. There's just incompetency everywhere. We're seeing that week in, week out now. We've probably hit it for a couple of years, but it's really coming to the surface now. But I think that's about it, unless anyone wants to add anything.
A little thing for me, and it's just more. It's misery at the moment for United fans, and to all United fans out there, I know people will be positive about we can improve, we can get better and stuff. I think people need to start realizing the reality of the situation we're in right now. And the reality is that this club will not be back at the top until we sort out the higher-ups rather than the manager. We won't be back to the level we were under Ferguson, I don't personally think, for 2 or 3 years at least. So for Positivity FC, I think you need to look at Reality FC more like, because reality's hit now. We just got beaten by a manager that used to be with us. 6-1, a manager who's supposedly the most defensive manager in the league and who has washed up and passed it, according to a load of United fans when he left. And he's just put 6 past us, past our prodigy manager. So, everyone needs to realise the reality of the situation rather than constantly being positive, because you're just kidding yourself.
Oh, on that happy positive note, I think we'll call it a day. Waz, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. I know you came in last minute to sort of bail us out, so it's really good of you. Can't wait to have you on again at some point. And Henry, as ever, thanks for joining me. Won't be a podcast without one of your rants. So like and subscribe the video if you want when it goes up as a video. And thanks for watching. We'll see you later.